Hi there, Chase from HighLevel here with a quick tutorial on how to build Linktree type pages in HighLevel. So first of all, what is Linktree and why is it cool? Well, if we go to a social profile, the problem with most social platforms is that they only give you one link for your bio. And typically you need to use that for your website. Well, Linktree came along and they were like, this is silly. Why don't we just link that to a little landing page full of buttons so that we can essentially split our one link into many. And so they started a cool service. The pages look pretty cool and they've done very well for themselves because it's a smart idea. But we can build these pages in HighLevel very easily, which is incredible value that we can provide or add to our packages to provide for our clients and ourselves, right? So let's take a look at how we build a Linktree page really quickly inside of HighLevel. So I'm gonna hop over to Website Builder. Let's just start a new one and we'll call it Linktree. And now we'll add a page. And again, I'm just gonna call this, I'll just call it links, and you call it something like quick links, whatever you want, links. Okay, great. Now let's hop into the editor. All right, so first thing that we'll do is we'll add a full width section and we're going to add a single column. I like to bring the column down because most times Linktree pages are pretty narrow. They're mobile focused. So let's take this to, I don't know, we'll go 35 to make it a nice even number. And now we can start adding our elements, right? So let's take a look at a Linktree page. So first of all, they have a cool little gradiated background here. So let's see if we can make that happen as well. So I'm going to select the section. We're going to go to background image. I'm going to click the image icon. And over here, you can search. So let's just type in gradient and see what happens. Boom, we've got all these cool gradients that come from Pixabay. You can also search in Unsplash. So I don't know if Unsplash is going to return any gradients, but let's see. Oh, totally. This one's cool. So let's use this. So we can just use the link, or we can actually save the image to our account. So I'm just going to go ahead and click save. All right, now we can hop back into our library and there it is. We can select it. Now we've got this cool gradient in the background. So what else does a typical Linktree have? A little image at the top with a circle. So let's say this is going to be a HighLevel page. You know, again, you're gonna add your logo, your picture, whatever you wanna be. So click add element, select image, and let's go grab an image. So I'm just going to, let's use this person for example here. And check this out. Well, Linktrees are cool because they're circle pictures. This one's a square. What do? Click it, go to advanced, image radius, circle, boom. And let's go back to general and let's just bring this down a bit. So let's make this like 150. That still looks a little big. How about 120? That looks good there. All right, cool. And next we get our buttons, right? So this could be your logo, whatever you want it to be, but now let's add some buttons. So we can either go to elements and add elements, or we could just click the orange plus under our last element and we can start dragging in our buttons. So let's say the first one would be like, you know, our website.com. And now we get to style the buttons. So one of the cool things about Linktree is they make it really easy to style the buttons and make them look however you'd like. So let's take a look at two quick designs for a button. Let's choose a color that works well with our background here. So maybe something like, yeah, I don't know. I'm no graphic designer, but let's go with that one. That's cool. And what I like to do is, because your buttons are going to have different length of text, I like to standardize it and just make the button the full width. So click your button, go to advanced and go fluid width and change it to fill width. There we go. That looks great. And now we can either leave our buttons as rectangular or we can round them off. And I think it looks cool to round them off. So let's do that. But before we do that, this button needs some room to breathe. And that's going to drive me nuts if I don't fix it. So let's come down here and add some top margin. Let's take it to a nice even number of 20. All right. And now we're going to go advanced. And to round off your buttons, you need to first give it a border. So let's give it a full border. And let's match the border color. Did we already do that? Can't remember which color. I think it's this one. All right. And now that we have a border, we can change its radius. So take the radius up to 50 And boom, we've got a nice pill-shaped button there. So then now we can just do, well, before we'd forget, we would want to go general and then put our link, right? So we want to choose to link it to a website, and then you'd put in, you know, your website.com. Great. So now we can just duplicate. And then our next button would be like, you know, maybe it's whatever else you want to link it to, your gallery, your menu, your particular services, right? So let's call this one, let's say we do a free SEO audit, something like that. So we just start stacking our buttons here. Okay, cool. I'm gonna hit save. It's always a good idea to save your progress as you go. And then I'll show you how to, what if we wanted to do the inverse? So some of the buttons look really cool like that, right? So how do we do that? We just select our button, go back to the advanced tab, and we go down here to BG styles and change that to line flat. And now we can see if we click away that it's sort of the inverse, right? It's the negative space approach, which I think looks pretty cool. So I'm gonna do that for this button as well. Let's take that to line flat. And then, you know, don't forget to go change the link for each of your buttons there. And you can just continue to stack buttons and split, you know, your one link into as many links as you'd like. Now, one other cool feature that Linktree does now is this like a call to action at the bottom, which I think is a neat idea. So let's do something similar here with our page. So first I'm going to add some padding to the bottom of the page here. So I'm going to click my main column, and I'm just going to bring the bottom padding down. Okay, cool. Actually, that's a little too much. So let's go like here. All right, now I'm going to add another section, and I'm going to color this something different so it stands out. So let's say we make it, you know, some sort of darker color or whatever. And again, we can add custom colors if we want, but let's say I'll just leave it as black so it stands out. And we could make some sort of call to action here. So let's add a column. Again, I'm going to bring this down to 35, and I'm going to add a button in here. And this button I'll leave as a different color so it stands out, right? And maybe this is where I would do my free audit or whatever my main offer is. So let's say I probably like this better down here, free SEO audit. And what I would do with this is I would again probably make this full width, and just to match the pill shapes, I would probably again switch this over. So I would go to border, full border, match the color, do my radius to 50. And the action for this one, instead of linking it to a separate site, I would leave the action as default, which is open the pop-up. So every HighLevel page has a pop-up, and we can build our pop-up by clicking this at the top left. And then here is where I would build my offer, right? So claim a free SEO audit. Awesome. And then I would grab my form so that they could claim it. And let's see, do I have any forms in this account? Yeah, I'll just grab this one. And I would put a little margin on top of my form, and boom, there we go. So let's save this. And I'm going to close my pop-up. And what I would probably do is make this section sticky, so I could make it stick to the bottom on scroll. And let's check out what that looks like. So I'm just going to duplicate a bunch of buttons so we can see what this would look like on a bigger page here. Okay, save, and then let's preview this page. Boom, cool. So see how I can scroll around, but this sticks to the bottom? That's a nice, really, really obvious in your face sort of call to action. So I think this is a great start to a Linktree page. I don't really see much of my gradient, so let's try to fix that. Oh, and I have the exit intent turned on the pop, but if we click this, we get our pop-up here. Let's get more of our gradient. So this is happening because when I select it, my image here is set to full center parallax. But if I change this to full center, or maybe 100% width, I should be able, there we go. Now I can see more of the cool gradient. So let's go refresh our preview, and boom, there we go. All right. So that's pretty great, right? I mean, that looks like a really cool Linktree page. It took us just a couple of minutes to build it. Again, ton of value that you can throw into your packages for your clients. Just make a template and do a little tweak, and you're ready to go. So that's how you make a Linktree page inside of HighLevel.